You know, the universe seems to really be giving me the double whammy lately, because we just had the 5-year anniversary of Transformers the last night, and now we have something even more personally significant, and that is the 15th anniversary of the release of Transformers, the very first live action movie directed by Michael Bay from 2007. I have a lot to say about this movie. You know, over the years, all the videos and stuff I post on YouTube, all the posts I make in social media, I talked a lot about the sequels. You know, I've had a waning interest that's come and gone over the years, but my obsession with Transformers started after Age of Extinction. But the importance of these movies to me goes all the way back to this very first movie. And I don't really talk about this first movie a lot, which is kind of strange, I suppose, considering how profound an impact it actually has on me. So that's what I want to do here. I gave Transformers the last night its time in the spotlight, and now this movie, this 2007 movie, deserves its own recognition as well. So yeah, this is a completely different story from when I talk about the other Transformers movies, because that all comes from a place of being a fan and obsession. This is completely different. I don't know that I would be sitting here in front of you right now if not for this movie. To take it all the way back to 2007, it just so happened to be that I was sitting in front of the TV as a 6-year-old kid when a TV spot for this movie came on. And I remember looking up and just being starstruck. I saw a red truck unfold and stand up and become a robot. I saw a helicopter fly into a city street and transform. A robot rip a bus in half. These are all things that stood out very vividly in my mind. And then the words Transformers, a Michael Bay film. I knew then I had to see this movie. I needed to see this movie. I didn't get to see it immediately. I had to wait till it came out on DVD, which was a few months later. But I did end up picking up the Beast Machines DVD in the meantime, which I went to buy this DVD, but I ended up coming away with Beast Machines because it was all they had, and I didn't know that was different. I thought it was the same thing. So technically Beast Machines is kind of what got me into Transformers in the first place. I wasn't sure actually if it was related to this or not at the time, but yeah, it's kind of funny that the two most disliked aspects of Transformers are the things that got me into the franchise in the first place. But anyways, I'll talk about Beast Machines another day. The DVD anyway for Transformers came out, and I was incredibly fortunate because this is the 2-disc special edition. I saw the movie, I fell in love with it. It was incredible. At that time, it was the most incredible thing I'd ever seen. Nothing I could have imagined was like this. And this second disc is extremely important because that's what started everything for me. I saw how the movie was made. I got to see how Optimus Prime, how Megatron, how Starscream, how all of these characters were brought to life, how the movie was constructed, how everything was set up and filmed. And that was insane to me. Seeing the level of detail and work that was put into this movie, seeing how long it took, and the fact that this was even possible. The fact that you could go on a computer and create something like this was just, I couldn't fathom it. And I fell in love. I was so enthralled. Listening to Michael Bay talk about how the movie was made and seeing the behind the scenes, I was so enthralled. I became very interested in that. And from that moment on, from that day I saw that special features, I wanted to be a film director. This movie changed the course of my life forever. That is not an exaggeration or anything out of obsession. That is literally straight up fact. Anything I've accomplished into my life up to now can technically be traced back to this one movie. So yeah, that made me want to become a film director. At the same time, I was in school. I was doing plays at Christmas. Every Christmas we did short plays and stuff. And I did those just out of fun and curiosity, and I had an innate talent for acting, and I really enjoyed it. But then I also saw, thanks to Transformers, acting could be a way for me to move up in the world and eventually get to my dream of directing movies. So that became what I pursued. Acting was my first and foremost thing. Film directing is kind of on the back burner. I'm more focused on the acting, but yeah, long story short, everything I've done as an actor, all my ambitions and goals in life to become a film director and all of that stuff, it's all thanks to this movie, to this franchise, this one in particular. You know, a couple days ago, I can't really say much about it because of contract details, but I did some extra work for a Netflix series a couple days ago. You know, pretty big thing. It's not the first extra work I've ever done. I did some extra work before, but it's the first I've done for Netflix, like for something that major. And, you know, thinking about it now that this anniversary's come along, it's weird because that wouldn't have happened. I would not have been a part of that if not for Transformers. Sure, something else might have come along and I might have become an actor anyway, but I can't see alternate timelines, so I don't know how that would have played out. And then you look at how Transformers has impacted the movie industry as a whole. You know, Iron Man came out a year later. The visual effects in that movie were heavily inspired by this. Most of the people from that movie worked on this. The Marvel Cinematic Universe would not exist in its current state, visually and story-wise and scale, without Transformers. I don't know that franchises like Fast and Furious would be going as strong as they are, you know? It's hard to really say exactly the level of impact Transformers had outside of maybe Iron Man, but there is no denying. You can say what you want about these these films and their quality, but there's no denying that this had a significant impact in Hollywood. This was one of those movies like Jurassic Park or like The Empire Strikes Back in terms of the impact it had and how it changed the landscape of filmmaking because of what visual effects could do now thanks to this. Really complex characters that could be brought to life in ways never possible before. It's all thanks to this. Love him or hate him, Michael Bay revolutionized the film industry in a way with the first live-action Transformers. And obviously, you know, it had a greater impact on the franchise as a whole, but I'm not here to talk about that. I'm here to mostly talk about the movie and its impact on, I guess, the real world. And yeah, you know, would I even have become a YouTuber without this movie? You know, possibly, you know, that part might have still happened because that came from video games and, you know, Metroid and Smash Brothers and stuff. So that might have still happened, but I would not have been posting about Transformers the last night. You know, I wouldn't have made all those YouTube videos and gotten so big on my old channel because of that. I wouldn't have made all those spam posts on my Instagram. You know, how would I even have gone through the, you know, secondary school years of my life without Transformers? It's really hard to think about. And yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I'm sitting here talking to you and I'm just reflecting on all this, and it's really nostalgic and emotional because the more I delve into it, the more I realize the huge impact this movie has on me. Who would I be today without this, you know? What would I be doing? Would I have still wanted to become an actor or filmmaker? Would I have taken a different path? You know, how far along would I be without this? I owe all of my current achievements as an actor to this. That's not an exaggeration, as I keep saying, but that's insane to think about, and that's not something I ever want to forget, you know? If I ever am fortunate enough to meet Michael Bay in person, you know, I have a lot to thank him for. I'm sure he probably doesn't care, let's be honest. He's got more important things to worry about, but I owe a lot to that man. I owe a lot to Optimus Prime. He is my favorite fictional character of all time. It is a coincidence that I'm wearing this particular shirt today. That wasn't planned, it just happened to line up with all this, but you know, he became my favorite fictional character, mostly out of how cool he is and the voice and all that, but obviously there's lessons with that character to be learned and applied to the real world. And the stories the Transformers universe has told. it's profound. It feels powerful, nostalgic, and as someone who's extremely sentimental and always stuck in the past, the power of that moment hits a lot deeper than I suppose it would for the average person. You know, my video on Transformers The Last Night should say it all. You know, I'm always stuck on, you know, what came before, what led to where I currently am. And to acknowledge, this is the first time I'm properly acknowledging this movie and the impact it's had on me in the last 15 years. I've never shied away from the fact that I am who I am because of Transformers, but I've never took the time to fully analyze and pick apart all the things that have contributed to who I am now, you know? I don't even know what to say, you know? I feel like there's a million things I could say, but I don't have the words for them because there's just so many feelings and thoughts that go along when I think about this and the impact it's had. Because, you know, I could potentially be here all night trying to explain that, so I'm probably going to cut it here. Just like the Last Night video, this was something that this was a video more out of a personal need than anything else. As a need to acknowledge it for myself and for who I am as a person. And yeah, I don't know if any of you will garner anything from this video, but if you have, let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section below. How do you feel about the Transformers movies? The first one in particular. Do you remember the first time you saw it? Did it have any major impact on you? Was there another movie franchise perhaps that it did this for you? I want to hear everything you have to say down in the comment section below. And with that, I have to say happy 15th anniversary to Transformers, the very first live action movie. As cringy as it sounds, it literally transformed my life forever.